Hi there, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting, and today I'm taking part in my team's blog hop. So I have a small team of Stampin' Up demonstrators, and we have joined forces with another small team, and every month we do a blog hop. So this is the Stampin' Birds April blog hop, and we just showcase anything that we have been making. So in the description bar, there is a link to my blog that gives all of the details with regard to this, the ink that I've used, the cardstock, the DSP, the stamp sets, everything. But it will also give you links to the other participants in the hop. And at this present moment in time, I don't know who else is taking part, but there are just a few of us. And it's a nice thing that we do as a team. One of the many benefits of being a Stampin' Up demonstrator. So what I've got today is a Peekaboo card. Not too complicated. I like to do relatively straightforward projects on my channel. And if you like straightforward, simple, easy to do projects, then why not subscribe and at the same time hit the notification bell to be notified every time I publish a new tutorial. So with that aside, let me show you how I'm going to make this. So I've made the butterfly Bijou DSP, and I've teamed that with Mango Melody card and Magenta Madness ink. Now I don't know if these are strict matches. I just picked up something that I wanted to go with that, and the reason it's a Peekaboo card because when you open it, there's your image. It's kind of peeking through there, and then you've got the full image in there. This is a birthday card. You could put another birthday sentiment in there if you wanted to. So let me show you how I made this. Now what I'm using for this, I am using dies. I'm using the Layering Circles dies. And I know sometimes when you are watching YouTube tutorials, you might not always have the equipment that is necessary for these, and you might find a way of finding an alternative. So you might actually just want to draw around a circle, whether it's a glass or a cup or something like that. Draw around a circle and use that as a template, and then maybe using a craft knife cut around those circles. It's entirely up to you, but this is a project with die cuts. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose the colour of my card base. Now I'm trying to use up my cardstock and trying to use up my DSP because we have a new catalogue about to go live. So I've got some Daffodil Delight here that I've been using to punch out some tulips. So I'm going to use that as my card base. And your card base needs to be, 11 3/4. No, it's not. Actually, this piece of card is wrong. Right, felt like a right doofus there. I'm going to go with that. I'm probably going to stick with this paper. We'll find another piece in a moment. But I don't know if it absolutely matches, but I think it goes quite nicely with that. So let's have a look at I've got the DSP here. And I might just use that again. This is Butterfly Bijou, and there are 6 of each design of these papers. You've got butterflies there with a nice purple and the green, lots of different shades of green in there. There'll be Old Olive, Just Jade, Shaded Spruce. That's really nice as well. I don't think it quite goes with the colour card that I've got. I've got that on the back. Lovely butterflies there. Isn't going to work with my cards. The design is too big, but that's lovely. Tempted. And then we've got that. It's not the right green. So I'm going to go with that as well. And I'll have a set of 2 cards, similar design, using different cardstock. So I'll just put that to one side. Let's create my card base. You can make 2 of these if you've got some scrap of the card. If not, you can make 1 because you are going to need scrap or some of the other cards to make these. Okay, but if you've got scrap, which I can see now in my card box that I do, so I'll use that scrap. So what I'm going to do is trim this card because I can make 2 cards out of it, but I'm only going to make 1 for this video. I'm going to trim this down to 11.5. Hoping you can see that on camera. I'm trying to be careful and make sure that I've got that shot in. So trim that down to 11.5. And then if you cut this at 5 3/4, you've then got 2 cards. And so keep that layer to one side. So I made the other card with Mango Melody. And so now I've got a piece of Mango Melody and a piece of Coastal Cabana ready for 2 more cards. Just wanted to show you this in a different colour. And then I've got some scrap ready for my circles. Right, so I just want to score this on the long side. So this long side is 8 1/4. This is 5 3/4. So on the long side, score this at 4 1/8. I use the paper trimmer for scoring. You might have the Simply Scored or some other scoreboard, and that's fine. So there's my card base, and I'll fold and burnish that now. And I'll use my bone folder to do that. So that's our card base, 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. And so I want to trim this down. Now, I want to be careful how I trim this because I want to make sure as much of that green, blue, whatever you want to call it, is actually in my card. If I trimmed it that way, I'm not going to have so much of it. So I'm going to trim it that way. And this needs to be, I want this to be 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I will trim this to 4 inches. And again, making sure, I don't think it matters which side I take this off. Trim this down to 5 5/8. And then what we're going to do is put that on there like that. Just going to find my glue. There it is. I think this is a great card for what I call production line card making. So if you've got to make a few of these cards, then do all of your processes one at a time. So cut your card base, cut your layers, stick your layers, then do your stamping, cut your circles, cut your borders, you do in a production line. I think that goes beautifully on there. I think it goes on there better than the Mango Melody. Just going to use that to disperse the glue. So we've got that. Now I want to show you what I used for my last card. This is my paper template, and it's got a bit kind of bashed really. But I'm not going to ditch it because I think this paper template works, and I'm going to use this for my stamping and also my die cutting. So I need a piece of Whisper White card. That's my Mango Melody ink that's just fallen over there. So let me just find my white card, and I'm just going to trim that down. And I want this card to measure 4 inches. In fact, actually, let's make that a little bit smaller. 3 7/8, I think. You'll see why in a moment. 3 7/8 by 5 1/2. Now the reason I've made it not the same as the DSP that we've just cut is that I would like there to be just a bigger border around there. You know, there's a reason we've chosen this card, and we want to show it off. Now what I'm going to do is stamp my butterfly here, and I'm going to stamp it in Coastal Cabana, but I want to make sure that I get it in the right place. Now, I have tested this does work. Now my template is just a teeny tiny bit bigger. It doesn't make a huge difference, so just get that right in the right place. So this template, cut your template down to 3 7/8 by 5.5, and then get your circle die or your circle and draw around it. Oh no, sorry, get your circle and then die cut it. That's what I meant to say, sorry. So this one, just to give you an idea of size, if you don't have dies and a die cutting machine, that one measures 2 1/8. And so I've just die cut that out of my circle. Die cut that out of my paper. I get myself confused now. So then what I was left with was a piece of paper with a circle in it on the bottom right. You don't have to do bottom right. You could do top right, top left, bottom left. Totally up to you. It's wherever you want that peekaboo to be. And I'm just going to now lightly draw around. Don't have to go all the way around, but you do need a good idea as to where that circle is going to be, ready for when you are going to stamp. And that's fine. That gives me a good enough idea as to where I'm going to stamp that. Don't bin that at this point. You need it. So what I'm going to do is get my butterfly punch. Let me show you the stamp set that I'm using. Now, don't come at me with this bit. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. This is the Butterfly Brilliant stamp. That Butterfly Brilliant stamp is one stamp. I've cut it up because I don't want to stamp several butterflies in one go. I wanted to have the choice. And that was quite easy to cut. I just got a pair of quite robust scissors and cut it up. Not everybody is using it like that. You use it how you like, okay? So it's totally a preference thing. So that's Butterfly Brilliance. And what I'm going to do is just, what am I doing? Finding an ink block. Put my stamp on there. Now I've realised that I've not cleaned that from when I used it just now. So I'm just going to find my stamp cleaner and get my ink. Okay, so I've got my Coastal Cabana ink. I have got my butterfly stamp. There's my butterfly stamp. And what I'm going to do is just stamp it in Coastal Cabana. Don't have to match the card. You stamp it in whatever colour you want, okay? You know, craft is about being original, so that everything you make is different. I'm just going to get a mat to rest that on, just because I've got a funny ridge on my table. And I'm going to stamp this sorry, I just had a smudge on my stamp that I just want to get rid of. I'm going to stamp this at a slight angle. You stamp it however you like, but it needs to be not all of it in the circle, but the vast majority of that image in the circle. I think that's a beautiful colour. I love that Coastal Cabana. I don't use it anywhere near as much as I could or should. And I want to find my rubber, and I'm just going to rub out those pencil marks. And I'm just avoiding the ink at the moment. But they do, if you pencil really lightly, they'll rub off very, very easily. But just be patient with it, don't rush at it. I'm just going to avoid the other pencil mark at the moment. No, that's not smudging. Thank goodness. So that's that bit done. Now we're really ready to start assembling our card. I'm ready to put that final die cut on. So let's glue this into place right in the middle of the card. As usual, my glue is mucking about, and it's because I don't look after my glue. So it's now having a little bit of a strop, as if it's saying to me, I told you, you don't look after me, I won't perform. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's because I don't put the top on. Right. So that, as a card, is absolutely lovely as it is. You put a sentiment on it. But what we're going to do is create that peekaboo. So you could, at that point, leave that card as it is, apart from a sentiment on here. But what we're going to do is just create that peekaboo bit. And that's where your template comes back in. So you're going to put that in the centre of your card, match that with your DSP. And then put the die back in again. So the same die that you used to create that circle. Let's just lift that out of there. Keeping it in the same place. Grab a post-it note. Washi tape can be probably a bit too harsh for this. I don't use washi tape. Post-it notes do the best job, so make sure they're stuck down. And what I'm going to do is then put it through the die cutting machine like that, not folded, like that. So it's going to go through the DSP and through that top layer of card. Right, so that's been through the die cutting machine. Take that out. So what you have there now is your peekaboo, like that. Now I just want to finish this off with a sentiment. So what I'm going to do is I need to put the ring around that. Now you don't have to if you don't want to. You need the same size circles you used to cut out that circle. And then also in the layering circles, we have this scallop die. It's in the same die set. And what I'm going to do is put that on some Coastal Cabana paper. So a card rather, has some scrap of that. And if I put that through the die cutting machine like that, it will give me a scalloped edge ring to put around my circle. So again, using post-it notes. So if you're thinking about buying a die cutting machine, you might want to consider the Stampin' Up Stampin' Emboss, or Cut and Emboss rather. And then when you do that, go to a newsagent's and go and buy yourself some post-it notes. But the Stampin' Emboss, Cut and Emboss is the perfect machine for this. Now what I can hear downstairs is that my dinner is almost ready. I can hear my husband crashing about in the kitchen. So I'm going to get a wriggle on with this. So that's what that's done by putting those two dies together. You've got a circle left for another project. Don't throw that away. And I'm just going to stick that around there. Gives a really nice finish. Kind of feel I'm up against time. I know he's going to shout up the stairs very soon. I know it's very soon because I can smell my dinner. So just while I'm sticking this on, just a reminder that all of the measurements and the details are in my blog post, along with all of the details of the other participants in the blog hop. Please go and visit their hops, and if you leave a comment, it will absolutely make their day. Right, just a few more things. I want to cut out a circle. I've got that circle, the one that you've just cut out, we'll use that. And then with the smaller circle, I'm just going to die cut that now onto some white card. So I've die cut that. So this one is slightly smaller. And we're going to put that on there. And I'm using from Vine Design, which is in the mini catalogue at the moment, this happy birthday sentiment. So I'm going to be using that and stamping that in Coastal Cabana. I'm still trying not to rush, but I know he's going to shout up the stairs in a second. Let's quickly get this stamp cleaned. I can get it mounted and we can get finished. Let's get myself an ink block. And I can have my dinner and come back up to my craft room and tidy up. There is complete devastation around me. So Coastal Cabana, you could use a darker blue green if you want to. You could use Night of Navy if you wanted to have a darker sentiment. Let's see how this goes. This is a card great for any occasion. I'm quite happy with that Coastal Cabana. Card for any occasion. It could be a thank you card, it could be a congratulations card, thank you card. Right, and then with some dimensionals, just get some dimensionals on the back of that white circle. I know people use a little picky tool to get these off. I love my tweezers for this. And then I'm just going to put that central on there like that. Let's get rid of that mat, I don't need it now. And just going to put that on there. So just with a bit of liquid glue for that. So we've got that there. We can still see the green of the butterflies on here. Just all goes really nicely together, I think. It's just missing one more thing. Just want to put a little bit of bling on this. Oh, sorry, awful noise. And I've got my rhinestone basic jewels. People who know me know that this is one of my favourite products to use. These rhinestones go a long way for how much you pay for them. Always worth sticking them on your order. If you do want to place an order with me, please find my host code on my blog. If you can't find it, then message me. My contact details are taffycrafting@gmail.com. Just contact me and I'll send you the hostess code. It changes every month. So, you know, I can say what it is now, but if you're watching this in 2 months' time, the host code will be different. So if you want a host code and you want to order through me, let me know. I reward all of my customers with free product every time they spend. So if you quote the host code, it will let me know who you are and I can send you free product. But these rhinestones, perfect thing just to drop into your basket. And there we go. So two cards, very similar. I've just shaken up the colours a little bit more on this one and added that pink. So I've just shaken up the colours on that a little bit, still picking up the orange here, but also picking up the pink. Use the same sentiments, and it's Mango Melody I've used for this card. This one just a little bit more uniform, keeping the same colour throughout, with Coastal Cabana, picking up the butterflies here, and then I've added some rhinestones onto this one. So I hope you like it. Please head over to my blog and head over to the hop and see the other participants. But in the meantime, I will be back again soon. I hope to have another video uploaded and ready for you to watch on Tuesday evening. So please look out for that one. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.